Hello, good people, and welcome to Hillbilly Cat History. Did Elvis hire 'em and fire 'em? Today we're looking at what Billy Smith and Marty Lacker had to say about it. And we're going to do that as soon as we come back from this song. This is The Line Between. Hi Mike, thank you so much for coming. Hi Tarzan, thank you for coming. Hi Marion, thank you for coming too.
I hear the static rising like a storm behind your breath. Every truth you're trying to name is shaking what we had left. You say the world's gone sideways, and I can feel the tilt begin. Two voices on a wire, and the ground won't stay still again. I'm not calling you a liar, I'm just trying to understand how the stories got so twisted between the heart and the helping hand. There's a line between us trembling, but I'm holding while I can. In a world that's spinning crazy, I'm still reaching for my friend. If the truth is breaking open, let it break us into light. Two hearts on different journeys, still trying to make it right. We built a house of loyalty, but the floorboards start to groan. Every secret that we carried now demands to be known. Say you're still my brother, but the silence cuts like steel. I'm standing in the doorway trying to tell you what I feel. I'm not trying to accuse you, I'm just naming what I see. All the shadows in the hallway where our trust used to be. There's a line between us trembling, but I'm holding while I can. In a world that's spinning crazy, I'm still reaching for my friend. If the truth is breaking open, let it break us into light. Two hearts on different journeys, still trying to make it right. I don't want to lose you, but I can't pretend I'm blind. There's a storm inside your story, and a storm inside of mine. If we meet again in mercy, let the past fall where it may. I'll be standing in the open if you choose to walk this way. There's a line between us trembling, but I'm holding while I can. In a world that's spinning crazy, I'm still reaching for my friend. If the truth is breaking open, let it break us into light. Two hearts on different journeys, still trying to make it right. Yeah, the line between us trembling, but I'm holding through the night.
Thank you for gathering here at Hillbilly Cat History, where we remember together and listen for the echoes. And today we're going to hear those echoes from Marty Lacker, from Billy Smith. But first we're going to start with our regular feature, What's on the Bookshelf? I've got a non-Elvis book. I've got an Elvis book. We're going to start with the non-Elvis book. And today it is The Last Dickens. And this is a novel about Charles Dickens. I think I showed another book about Dickens earlier, and this is a different one. And it's got those cool ragged edge pages that I guess were in vogue at one point when they were printing these kind of books. And it's got a nice dust jacket on it. It was originally $25. And it says that it's like the Dante Club and the Poe Shadow mixed together, but about Dickens, is basically the way that it's described. So it sounds very interesting, and it's on the bookshelf waiting to be read. And the next book is the Elvis book. And it's Colonel Tom Parker, The Curious Life of Elvis Presley's Eccentric Manager by James L. Dickerson. And it's got another picture of the Colonel on the back. And then a lot of text. You can see the side of this book. And this book was printed. See if I can find the publication date here. 2001. So it looks kind of old when you look at it. It's only about 26 or 25 years old, which is kind of new in the Elvis world. It's not extremely old. It's not as old as Growlnick's and Nash's work for the most part, but I can't remember what year Nash's Colonel book came out. I feel like this came out in To Ride That Coattails, but I can't remember specifically, so I can't really say that. And it's a thin book compared to some of the others that have come out about the Colonel. It's not especially informative, I don't think in any special way. It has a very thin bibliography, but it does acquaint you with the timeline fairly well from a Colonel point of kind of view. And now we can turn over to the reason that we're all here. And that is to take a look at, did Elvis hire him and fire him? That's, hopefully we're going to make it to that point of the broadcast today. We got a little bit to cover before that. And Linda's saying that Nash's book was printed in 95 and repackaged in 2005. It's still in publication. So he came out right in the middle of that, which I guess he's not riding anybody's coattails. I don't know exactly. I mean, I've read the book. Nothing jumped out at me as being especially significant about the way that he put anything together or that he revealed any new details. You know, Nash's book kind of hinged on this murder theory that started it out. This doesn't have anything quite that sensational, and it doesn't give near as much detail as Nash's book. And Dylan's asking if something happened with the screen. No, I'm just showing, did Elvis hire him and fire him? Should change now, and we'll see a gold brooch. And this is, it's got a little diamond in it. Elvis went to Germany in 1958, the very tail end, and he came back in 1960. And when he came back in 1960, he brought this gold brooch, which is like a pin, like a lapel pin kind of thing, but really for a female. And he brought this back and he gave it to his grandma Dodger. Or maybe he gave it to her before she came back, because she was over there with him and just came back a little bit earlier. Not much earlier. But this came from Germany. It was Grandma Dodger, Grandma Minnie Mae, Elvis's grandmother, Donna Presley's grandmother. So we looked at who's the real first cousin, Billy Smith or Donna Presley. They're both first cousins. There's a bunch of other first cousins. Grandma Minnie Mae, she gave this brooch to Donna Presley. And this was the one that Elvis gave to Grandma from Germany. Now this guy, I'm not sure who this is. I want to say that it's Mike Moon, but I don't know who this is. But Donna sold him the brooch. And he got a picture with Donna when he purchased it. And you can see he's got a necklace on that I think is either a replica or maybe it's the real thing that was Elvis's. I think that's some kind of Elvis jewelry. And Linda says the brooch is beautiful and that she loved Elvis's jewelry choices. It was very showy. Francis said that Elvis really loved his grandma Dodger. Now here's what Donna said about this. She gave it an authenticity certificate. Now her signature isn't on here, but we do see this picture. So I don't know if this is like a copy that didn't have her signature on it or what. If you were to type up something as a certificate of authenticity and you put somebody's name on it, be sure that you get their signature. That's going to be really important to you in that item in the future. That's just a tip from your Uncle Matt. If you had one of these expensive Elvis items, get their signature and the story. The story on this one is this 14-karat yellow gold bow pin with diamond was purchased in Germany by my first cousin, Elvis Aaron Presley, for our grandmother, Minnie Mae, and was later given to me as a gift from my grandmother, Donna Presley Early. And Francis says, why did Elvis call Minnie Mae Dodger? So there's multiple stories. One is just that he couldn't say grandma or grandmother, and somehow it came out as Dodger. Another one is that he threw an orange or an apple or a biscuit at her one day, and that this was not an unusual occurrence. But on this time, she dodged out of the way, and he called her Dodger. Now, a variation on that story I've heard is that he was throwing it at somebody else. Like, there had been a couple of them in there throwing things at, like, biscuits at each other. And one of them sailed by Dodger, who dodged out of the way. And then she picked up the name Dodger. But in truth, nobody knows for sure. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for coming. And Tarzan says that he hopes it keeps getting passed down for generations. Well, it can't because she sold it. So it's not going down through generations. It went to that guy that we saw. And he later sold it. So he doesn't own it either. Mike said he'd heard it was a light bulb that got thrown at her. Might have been, but most of the light bulb stories I've heard come from later in Elvis's career when he could afford to throw light bulbs. That'd be a very expensive thing to throw. And when he was a kid, they didn't have electricity. So I don't think he would have thrown a light bulb, but I don't know for sure. Like I said, nobody really knows the story as far as I know. A lot of people like to make stuff up. That is the Elvis world in a nutshell. If there's not a story, when you ask someone, they'll come up with a story. And this is from, also from Donna. This one's signed. It says, this 14-karat yellow gold bow pin with diamond was purchased in Germany by my first cousin, Elvis Aaron Presley, for our grandmother, Minnie Mae Presley, later given as a gift to me from my grandmother. Hi, Midshipman. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate seeing you here. So this one's on taking care of business letterhead with no signature. And then we've got one on its DPE, which was Donna Presley early. It was connected to Precious Memories, which was meant this was around the time that the book was published, which would have been 1997. And there is a date at the top, July 22nd, 97. Looked like this was faxed. Now, this is another beautiful piece. Although, let's back up for a second. We can see this is connected to Precious Memories, and that just makes me think. If we back up again and look at this piece, well, that's not Elvis's hair, is it? I was told that she sold Elvis's hair with Precious Memories, and it looks like one guy, he got this brooch. And that's not hair at all. Now, there's also this piece, which is a necklace that looks like a rose. And Tarzan says there's so many mysterious stories with Elvis. That's true. I think it's like the comic book world, where there's the multiverses. Everyone's got a multiverse of Elvis, but there's really only one out there somewhere. We're trying to put it all together. And Tarzan says she had his hair. Well, some people say she sold his hair, but it's a cockamamie story. I've got the explanation up on my channel in a video. Feel free to check it out. She licensed a picture to a trading card company, and they stuck a piece of hair on it that was bought in an auction the previous year, and they sold a whole bunch of them, or they tried to. They went out of business, so I don't think they sold very well. She was accused of having handed them out in 1997 with the book, but the cards weren't even printed until 2004. It's a confusing story. You just have to check out the video. This particular item, this was purchased in Germany, was given to a very special lady. That lady was Minnie Mae Dodger, Grandma. Same one that got the gold pin. Donna sold it to the same person. There he is. He's very happy to get this necklace that looks like a rose. There is this reference recording, which for some reason the auction site lists as the 45 RPM reference, which I guess means it's only really got the one song on it, which is Are You Lonesome Tonight? It's for like one side of the 45 RPM. And Elvis owned it, and it ended up with Donna. I'm not exactly sure how that occurred. I'm assuming he gave it to her, or he gave it to her mother, or he gave it to Dodger. I'm not sure. There you can see speed 45. I guess that's the 45 RPM reference. It says, "Are you lonesome tonight?" Elvis Presley. RCA Victor reference recording. This is a piece of the business. He recorded this shortly after he returned from the Army. Jimmy Velvet was there when he recorded it. So Jimmy Velvet also authenticated this piece. Now I'm guessing there were two of them, maybe one for each side, because we can see in this picture Donna has sold it to the same gentleman, but there's two of them. So I'm guessing it's the same record, both sides. I don't know. I only know for sure about this one. Are you lonesome tonight? And Jimmy Velvet says, "This 45 RPM acetate, Are You Lonesome Tonight, was recorded by Elvis Presley at RCA Studio B in Nashville, Tennessee on April 4th, 1960. I was at the session, which was just shy of the 2 weeks after Elvis was discharged from the Army on March 20th, 1960. It was a great session, and I remember it well." A couple of years later, while I was talking with Elvis's cousin, Harold Lloyd, and Harold was a gate guard, Elvis told Harold to take a stack of acetates to the gate and give them to fans. He gave me 4 or 5 of them and gave Donna Pritchett a couple too. Donna is Elvis's cousin and daughter of Nash Presley, Vernon's sister. This incredible acetate is one of those given to Donna that day and is a fabulous piece of rock and roll history. So a couple of years later would have put Donna at about 12 years old. And Jimmy Velvet is saying at 12 years old, Donna Pritchett was at Graceland. He's placing her at the gate with Harold Lloyd. She's there for the summer, probably, staying with Elvis and them and her grandmother. A lot of people said she didn't spend the summers there. She's not at Graceland. Jimmy Velvet, who has no dog in this race, no pony in this race, here on this document that has nothing to do with whether Donna was or wasn't at Graceland, he just casually mentions, yes, she was, because she got this record while she was there. It kind of destroys all these arguments about how Donna wasn't at Graceland, right? What's this? This is a beautiful doll that comes from Germany. It was given to a special little girl. She was 10 years old. She and her sister and her mother, they rode the bus from Arkansas to Memphis. They knocked on the front door of Graceland. Elvis himself opened the door. And at some point during that visit, Elvis gave Donna this doll. And Donna says, "This German doll, brought back from Germany by my first cousin Elvis Presley, was given to me when he returned from the Army. It was also shown in a French documentary. Elvis's first cousin, Donna Presley Early." Now, this is on Donna Presley Early's letterhead, DPE at the top. That dates this somewhat. It doesn't say precious memories, but it's probably early 2000s. Now, a lot of people are accusing Donna of saying, I'm Elvis's first cousin, and she's just started saying that. Came out of nowhere. Just started saying it after all this time. But she's always maintained that she's the first cousin because she is. She's a first cousin. I mean, there's no way around it. That's what Donna is. And here we see documentation that she's been using the Presley name, which people also want to attack Donna for a very long time. This is not a new occurrence. And it's because her mother is a Presley. Marion says this is very interesting, and Midshipman says this definitely destroys the rumor that Donna wasn't at Graceland, that Jimmy Velvet knows his stuff and has been around for major years. And Elizabeth said that the artwork was great and precious and beautiful. And Patty says it's amazing. And this is the doll that was given to Donna. Now, Donna sold this doll, along with the other possessions that we've seen. I don't think Elvis would be upset about that. I mean, possessions are possessions, and people need to live. But I also think it tells us something about what Donna had to sacrifice at some point in her life, just like it tells us what Billy had to sacrifice when he gave up Elvis' possessions. A lot of people only see the money involved, and the money was what was needed at the moment, but I'm sure it hurt them to sell objects like this. And Marion says nobody can talk away the fact that Donna is Elvis's first cousin. That it's a fact. And we'll just look at that fact here. Gladys loved Presley. She had a brother. His name was Travis. Travis had a son. His name was Billy. There's a lot more people in this family. I've simplified this so that we can understand Billy and Donna's relationship to each other, so that we can end all the fan struggles about this and accept them both in our hearts as first cousin, because they both are. Vernon Presley had a sister. Her name was Nashval. She had a daughter. Her name was Donna. Gladys and Vernon had a son together. His name is Elvis. You may have heard of him. And he had two first cousins. Now, he had a lot more first cousins, but two of them were Billy Smith and Donna Presley. And Linda says that she agrees if someone is given a gift, then they have the right to do whatever they want, including selling them. Marion says she likes that doll. It's wearing traditional cloth. Marion agrees with Linda that they should be able to sell these items if they need to or want to. And Midshipman says it's not like they wanted to sell it, they had to survive. And that she would have wanted to do it either, but would have if they had to. And Elizabeth says they both definitely are first cousins. And we did a little comparison yesterday. We're going to do just slight amount today. Billy Smith, first cousin. Donna Presley, first cousin. Lived at the Circle G. They both did. They both lived at the Circle G as long as anybody could live there. It was only open a few months out of 1967. They both lived in a mobile home behind Graceland. Billy from 1974 through 1977, Donna from 68 through 70. Billy Smith's father and mother lived at Graceland from the late 50s to the early 60s. And Donna Presley's parents, her father and mother, lived there from the late 60s to the early 80s. So if we were keeping a scorecard, it's pretty neck and neck here. Not that any of these scorecards tell us who Elvis loved the most or who he cared about the most. He loved both of these people. And they both loved him. Now, on this slide, we can see grandmother lived at Graceland, and there is a distinction here. Dodger is Donna Presley's grandmother. She is not Billy's grandmother. I'm sure she treated Billy as a grandchild with the same love that she treated the others. But Donna was by blood related to Grandma, to Dodger, to Minnie Mae. Those are all the names Grandma went by. Now, yesterday I made an error, and a viewer caught me and they let me know about it, and thank goodness they did, because it made me feel real silly. Because I said in this next column, aunt that lived at Graceland, and I said no, Billy didn't have an aunt that lived at Graceland, but that's awful foolish because the very first slide showed Gladys Smith Presley, who definitely was Billy Smith's aunt. And she lived at Graceland from 1957 to 1958. Now, Donna had an aunt that lived at Graceland too. That was Delta Presley Biggs. And Delta lived at Graceland from 67 through 1993. So they both had an aunt that lived at Graceland. And that brought us to this book that Billy wrote, The Last Vacation, about the March 1977 Hawaii vacation. He published this book in 1978. And this is the view from Elvis's room at the hotel before he moved over to a more private and secluded, like a house or a villa. And Patty says that Elvis didn't play favorites. He loved everyone equally. So this book says that Elvis spent the days on the beaches of the bay or lying in the sun by the pool of the house that they went to on the other side of the island. And that Elvis took time out from the beaches to go shopping at a shopping center in Honolulu and at several stores in a nearby town. Elvis purchased clothing, he purchased sunglasses, and he purchased other items for himself and others in the group. He also enjoyed a night of native dances and native food at the Polynesian Cultural Center at Brigham Young University, Hawaii campus. And while staying at the beach house, Elvis talked with everyone, he watched television, he listened to music, and he generally relaxed. He played ping pong with those staying at the beach houses, and he enjoyed barbecues at night. So it sounds like he had a nice time while he was out here. He was able to go shopping. I don't think that's something he got to do very often. He bought people gifts, and there's a lot of gifts that are not mentioned in this book, like special crosses that he bought for Ginger and one for Dr. Nick. We'll have to look at those someday. We'll have to do a whole vacation episode. This says, on the beach, He relaxed, enjoying conversation with his friends, and he played touch football with all of the guys. He also ate his regular diet of cheeseburgers, pizza, and bacon and eggs. When they played football, it was a no-quarter game full of roughhouse tactics and laughter. And Elvis loved that so much. And that several players, including Elvis, sustained minor injuries from running into fences, palm trees, and occasionally other players. And Elizabeth says that sometimes you've got to sell stuff to make it. Like these items, these gifts that Elvis may have given to these people. And then on the 13th of March, the entire party checked out of the hotel and they departed Hawaii for the mainland. Thus ended Elvis's last vacation in Hawaii and the last vacation his generosity provided his loyal employees and friends. Now, this book was published in 1978 by Graceland Associates. And so that's the first book that Billy published. You can see a picture of Joe there. She's got that shirt on that says Hawaii 77. You can also see another person that was there. It's Larry Geller. I believe that means Larry Geller's wife is also there. Midshipman says if he's playing no-holds-barred football, it sounds like Elvis is not out of shape. That is a good observation. And this is just a lot of pictures of them enjoying themselves on the beach. Looks a little bit windy too. And Elvis looks just a little bit cold. I mean, he's got long pants and socks on. And Elvis normally was a cold person. Like, he liked it cold. So if he's wearing layers like that, that makes me wonder if he was cold. Like, maybe that's talking about the circulation in his body at the moment. Maybe he couldn't get warm. Maybe the wind was too much sensation for him. I don't know. But he's got more clothes on than everybody else. Joe looks like maybe she's got long pants on. And the trees, they really do look like they're blowing hard. So when you sit on the beach like that, I bet he's getting pelted by sand too. And of course, that's uncomfortable. And Marion says that she thinks he looks quite energetic. The midshipman's pointing out that this kind of football is hard that he was playing. And Tarzan notes that heart problems sometimes make the body cold. Yeah, I wonder. And then we get to the magazine that Elvis and Marty were printing. It says Elvis the Record. You can see in this issue it had The Last Farewell, interview with Billy Smith and the Memphis Mafia Today. This was volume 1, number 4, pretty early in the series. It's not number 1, but it was a special August anniversary edition. You can see Marty Lacker, assistant editor, Billy Smith, editor-in-chief. We've got Joe Smith and Patsy Lacker, that's the wives. We got a Carolyn Davis, but there's also a Bill Davis. Carolyn's a managing editor. Bill Davis is an assistant editor. I'm assuming they're married. And we've got the art director, Ken Hagenbach. I believe that means he's the guy that is doing what we would think of today as Photoshop in order to get these pictures onto the cover, but he would have done this all manually. This meant he was a man that had skill. There is a skill involved in what's going on here with the art. He's probably, the way that Elvis is written at the top and that really cool logo font thing, that's a whole design, a graphic design. He's probably responsible for that. And midshipman's asking, what was the actual temperature in Hawaii on that day? That's something we'd have to look at in another episode, but that is a very interesting question. And Mike says that it's a misconception that Elvis was down and depressed after the split up with Priscilla, and that he had a lot of good times after Priscilla. And that's what we were just looking at. That's right. The midshipman is saying 55 to 60 degrees during that month. That does seem kind of cold for Hawaii, if that's Fahrenheit. Or is that Celsius? That's an ad that's on the back. You can get something about King Elvis, and I've never ever seen anything called King Elvis before, so I don't think that's connected to EPE. They got some articles in here, some photos. Let's look at this. This is not a magazine that the guys are printing. This is another fan magazine that was printed in the early 80s. This one's, I think it says $1.95. Now let's just go back. This one's $3, the one that the guys are printing. Now, the one the guys are printing, I have to admit, it's pretty nice looking. I mean, this is a large, regular size magazine. It's glossy. On the cover, there are glossy pages in the interior. Not all of the pages are glossy, but some of them are. You can see these color illustrations, color photos. I mean, this is a nice presentation. This is a cheaper, smaller magazine. Elvis International Forum, $1.95, but it gives you a bit of a comparison about a fan magazine, roughly the same time period. And Elizabeth says that's a great picture. And midshipman's saying they're trying to narrow it down, and what was the day? Let's flip back here. March 4th, 1977 is when they left. So I would look at about a week going forward from March 4th, 1977. And inside this magazine, it says Teddy Bear, Volume 25, March 1980. So they started printing, Marty and Billy started printing in 1979. And they're printing through 1980. So this is during that same period, March 1980. And this says, Elvis Presley's heirs and the heirs of other famous people do not have an exclusive right to profit from the deceased's continuing fame. A federal appeals court ruled in Cincinnati, Ohio. The right is not inheritable, the ruling declared. After death, the opportunity for gain shifts to the public domain, where it is equally open to all. The 3-0 decision overturned a lower court ruling that Presley's heirs and business associates retained the exclusive right to profit from the superstar's memorabilia sold after his death. So I don't know exactly what that court case was about, but that seems to uphold a right of fan magazines, although it's talking about the sale of merchandise. But I think you could easily extend this thought pattern to magazines that are selling stories about Elvis and using pictures that are not controlled by the estate. And that they're allowed to do this legally, and they do not have to pay the heirs. Now, there's only one heir. I don't even know why they say heirs. There's only one. It's Lisa Marie Presley. She's it. Because Vernon's dead. He was maybe the one other. She's it. And this basically says the court decided she is not entitled to a cut of money made off of her dad's image. I don't think this is quite how it's still interpreted today, but you can see that people were in court suing each other about this. There's a picture of Elvis from that magazine. And that's really why I wanted to bring the magazine in, so we could see that court case. Or at least the reference to it. And that supports what Marty and Billy are doing here as legal. And here's a picture of the gates of Graceland. You can see the mansion in the background. And it says, they'll all come to see me as they lay beneath the green, green grass of home. The King's Voice. And this was apparently an advertisement from the back. In 1979, Marty Lacker published a book. And this book was Elvis' Portrait of a Friend. And so this is right in the same time period that they're publishing the magazine. So my personal theory, which is simply a theory, this is purely speculation, I'm not pushing this out there as truth, is that Billy got that book printed. And I don't think that book was professional in terms of a book. It was very professional in terms of a printing job. So I think he found somebody who was a good printer, not necessarily a book publisher. And they printed copies of that book. And that got them into this magazine deal. Or Marty was out there looking to print this book. And this did go through a publisher. So now they've made contacts in the independent publishing world and the regular publishing world. And they parlay that into the magazine. Because now they've made the contacts they need. And they know how to do it. That's what I think happened. And I think it's like Lamar said, we're always fighting the business world. So they went into business on this publishing and they figured out, hey, we could turn this into a magazine. Now, I don't know for sure that's what happened, but all of this publication happens in a short window of time. And this book asks on the front, with all his money, was Elvis happy? And we can see here the first printing of the book was June 1979. Marty Lacker, Patsy Lacker, Leslie S. Smith. But if we look at the top, we can see that there are photographs from Billy and Joe Smith. Now, Billy also is interviewed for this book, and so there's a section that's written. It's kind of as if it's in an interview with them, and then it puts quotes in there from him a lot. It's really Billy's section of the book. These are some of the magazines they printed together. You can see it's not a single issue, it's multiple issues. And Linda says, that book's $38 on eBay. She'll pass, but the seller accepts offers. It's a grouchy book. If you want to read that book, it does have a lot of facts in it, but it is completely filled with Marty grouchiness. So you will get to learn Marty better as a person. The mistake a lot of people make when they read Marty is they take what he says for literal fact. Marty was on pills that entire period that he writes about. Marty's descriptions are all about Marty. They're Marty's perspective. And Marty's perspective is valuable, but it is not the gospel of what happened to Elvis. It's the gospel of what happened to Marty from Marty's perspective. The people he blames for what happened to him, well, that's not true at all, because what happened to Marty was due to Marty. Marty was responsible for Marty's well-being. Here's some more of these magazines. This is volume number one. This is the very first one, May of 1979. Wait a second. May of 1979? Let's go back. This book was printed, first printing June of 79. Now, you don't slap together a book in a couple of days. You don't slap together a book while you're slapping together a magazine. This book was in process long before June of 1979. This magazine was in process at least 2 months, even on this independent basis. It had to have been in process at least 60 days before May of 1979. This is all happening at exactly the same time. Volume number 2. June of 1979. Well, that sounds familiar. That was a big publishing date for Marty and Billy. It's Elvis the Record, Volume 1, Number 2, and the book, Portrait of a Friend. There's the back of this one. You can get these bubblegum cards of Elvis. And this makes me wonder if this truly was connected to the estate too. You think for sure they would have paid a license to some like EP or something, but I have no idea. Here's volume 1, number 3. Finally, a magazine for the true fan. The Elvis Spin. Elvis moves to Graceland. From rags to riches. The $1 million performance. I mean, it sounds pretty informative in this magazine. There's a great picture of Elvis wearing some of his trademark sunglasses, the TCBs. Or wait, maybe that's not them. Those are some big, huge sunglasses. Look, you could buy paintings of Elvis and Lisa Marie that Lisa Marie doesn't get any money from. Isn't that amazing? It's right there. You can see Elvis, you can see Lisa Marie, you can see that painting, I don't think it's very good. It's copied off a famous Elvis and Lisa Marie picture. I'm pretty sure they're not getting any cut off of this, that Lisa doesn't get any part of this. But it's advertised right there on the back of her dad's friend's magazine. Hard to believe that she had any hard feelings towards them at all. Here's another Elvis the Record magazine, volume number 1, number 5. September 1979. Finally, a magazine for the true fan. The Skating Party. Elvis buys the ranch. I'd kind of like to read that one. Interview with Uncle Vester. Uncle Vester, say it isn't so. But he also, he interviewed with National Enquirer as well. And some others. Uncle Vester, he's a talker. I sure hope they paid him. Close Calls. Elvis the Record. And midshipmen saying they are not EPE but boxcar. Well, that's cool then, because that is Colonel, like you're saying. Midshipmen saying the Colonel just checked the box. So that's a good point. If it says boxcar, then it's probably official. So is that this here, the souvenirs? Yeah, I don't know. I don't see boxcar on this anywhere. But unfortunately, this is as far as we can make it for today. We've run out of time. We're at the end of the hour. I want to thank each and every one of you that's been here with me today, both live and on the replay. I feel like we learned a lot about Elvis today. We're going to shift gears tomorrow. I have more to go through about the magazines. But tomorrow is the anniversary of the channel. It is 1 year old as of April 2nd. That's the day I posted the first video 1 year ago. And I'm going to do a special episode tomorrow that tells the entire truth, as far as I know it, about the bone cancer rumor that I've got an episode out there about, but I've learned more information. We're going to fill in a new piece of the puzzle, and we're going to put together more of the bone cancer story than you've ever heard. That's tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, you all keep on taking care of business. This is Pounding at the Gates.
I hear him loading up the stories, hear him dialing up the dates. Here's brothers turning witnesses to the pain he couldn't shake. Red says everything he got from him, but I can hear the hurt behind it like a crack of blame. Dave's boiling blood is pounding on the gates of Graceland, shouting, face me like a man, but never knowing he was hurt. He left town in the night, not to hide, just to breathe, but they took it as a knife, as a wound they couldn't leave. They say they saved his life, they say they stood their ground, but he was burning from the inside and they never heard the sound. Face me like a man. He gave love and friendship every chance, but it slipped right through the fingers. Shed that swallowed by the tracks of time. Sabotage his name. No, they're sabotaging their own pain. They loved him ads, calling every friend Elvis ever had, asking dates, asking stories, turning memories into scrap room for a book full of words as he wrote it for the money. Then he says he wrote it out of love, but love don't come with lawyers and a push from up above. They burst in a gun, bulb on his hip, says he ain't here to hurt nobody, just wants to look him in the eye and hear the words again. But the wolves were in the fold, the wolves they never saw. They saw the chunks who's in the spotlight, not the threat behind the wall. Say they knew his shape, they say they knew his fall, but they only saw the surface while he was screaming through it all. Face me like a man, he gave love and friendship every chance, but it slipped right through the fingers, shed that swallowed by the cracks of time. Sabotage his name, though the sabotaging their own pain. They loved him, yeah, he knows it, but they loved the legend more than man. He called red when he knew the book was coming. His voice was shaking like a sinner in the pew. He wasn't angry, his heart was broken. He was scared of losing those with who he shared the truth. And when the radio said his name that August morning, they pulled their cars to the side of the road. They cried, they froze, they remembered the man they couldn't reach anymore. Face me like a man, he was dying in slow motion, trying to hold the world together with a heart that lost devotion. Sabotage my name, no, this was always a two-way flame. You loved him, yeah, you know it, but you couldn't see the man in pain. He never meant to lose you, you were never meant to run. He didn't want to face the ending of the story you left undone. I hear the static rising like a storm behind your breath. Every truth you're trying to name is shaking what we had left. You say the world's gone sideways, I can feel the tilt begin. Two voices on a wire, and the ground won't stay still again. I'm not calling you a liar, I'm just trying to understand how the stories got so twisted between the heart and the helping hand. There's a line between us trembling, but I'm holding while I can. In a world that's spinning crazy, I'm still reaching for my friend. If the truth is breaking open, let it break us into light. Two hearts on different journeys, still trying to make it right. We built a house of loyalty, but the floorboards start to groan. Every secret that we carry now demands to be known. You say you're still my brother, but the signs cuts like steel. I'm standing in the doorway, trying to tell you what I feel. I'm not trying to accuse you, I'm just naming what I see. All the shadows in the hallway where our trust used to be. There's a line between us trembling, but I'm holding while I can. In a world that's spinning crazy, I'm still reaching for my friend. If the truth is breaking open, let it break us into light. Two hearts on different journeys, still trying to make it right. I don't wanna lose you, but I can't pretend I'm blind. There's a storm inside your story, and a storm inside of mine. If we meet again in mercy, let the past fall where it may. I'll be standing in the open if you choose to walk this way. There's a line between us trembling, but I'm holding while I can. In a world that's spinning crazy, I'm still reaching for my friend.
I'm holding through the night.